I never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing.
Yeah, so we're here with Afeez Kay.
Oh, hi.
I'm going to do something really stupid today. I'm going to try his unicycle and he's going to teach me how to pull off first.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So, one thing I must tell you about the electric unicycle is that you need to know how to come off. I won't say fall off. I don't want to scare you. You have to know how to come off safely.
Yeah.
Once you know how to come off safely, then that kind of removes that fear factor from it, because you know that you can always secure the electric unicycle, and you can also obviously secure yourself as well from injuring yourself.
Yeah.
And then everything else will just fall into place. Now, I must warn you though, your body will think, what the hell is about to happen to me? Because obviously you're not used to balancing.
Senses, isn't it? Like,
Exactly,
yeah.
it does. But essentially, it's like riding a bicycle. Even though it looks like you only have one wheel, because there's a balancer, it's like having two wheels that balances itself forward and backwards, right?
Yeah.
So what you need to do is the faster you go, essentially, the more it keeps
the
you.
gyroscopes, so keeping it.
Exactly.
The nearest I've probably come is Segway.
Yeah.
In terms of like your
Yeah,
momentum
forward.
and
Yeah,
stuff
it goes
like
forward and
that.
it goes
Obviously, two
backwards.
wheels
Yeah.
rather than one.
Yeah. And some people might obviously disagree with me because they've never tried this before, and you understand what I mean. So it will take you some time. This is probably one of the hardest electric vehicles to learn. But I believe that this is probably, the electric unicycle is probably the best electric vehicle, one of at least top 3 best electric vehicle on the planet.
So let me ask you, take us all the way back to like why unicycle?
Why unicycle?
Yeah, why?
Okay.
So I drive an electric car.
Yeah.
That suits me. Why unicycle?
Okay, why unicycle? So, I like cars first and foremost, and I used to be a consultant, and I used to travel up and down the country. I even worked in for the National Trust in Swindon. So I needed a car at that particular moment in time of my life. So when I got back to London, and I just decided, okay, no more. I just want to get myself into one company and just move up the career ladder. I realized that I don't need my BMW 330i that I was using at that time. I then was looking for cars, obviously, but before that, I was already thinking about electric cars anyway. So I started to look into Tesla, as you do. I mean, this was a couple of years ago, and I was drawn in. But the Tesla was quite expensive. I could have got it, but it just didn't make sense for me financially. And car is a depreciating asset, so I don't want to put money into it. So I looked at the BMW i3. I got myself an i3, long story short. But I hardly ever drove the i3 because I was working in central London. So it was just packed in my driveway. And I only literally drove the i3 for fun, because electric cars are just fun.
Great fun.
Yeah, they're actually great fun.
Yeah.
So, but I just thought, okay, well, is it really worth me having a car that was essentially at that time £42,000 just on my driveway doing nothing for 2 years? Because I leased it. So I thought, okay, so how will I get around? I still want to get around, but I wanted to get around in a sustainable way.
Yeah, makes sense.
And getting on the tube, as we spoke earlier, it's not nice at 8 a.m. in the morning.
No, traffic sucks.
Traffic sucks. Traffic
and generally, like the tube and everything else sucks.
Yeah, exactly. So I started looking at an electric skateboard.
Right. Okay.
There's a chap, you might know him. His name is called Mark Simlow.
Yes. Yeah. So.
He tried to get me to buy the Evolve skateboard.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And I was literally considering that, and then I saw a video by another guy on YouTube on this electric unicycle. His name is called Tishon Forhe.
Right.
And I thought, what the hell is that? How is that thing staying upright? And if you look at electric unicycle in general, it's probably, in terms of the form factor, especially as a city dweller like myself, it's compact enough.
Yeah.
It has the range, 40 miles, 50 miles range for
really,
some.
That much?
Yes. It has good speed, 25 miles plus speed, so you can get to where you're going.
Good distance,
exactly, good distance, good speed, and it has got that cool factor as well.
It's not the normal thing that you would normally see, really.
No, it isn't. But if you think about, it's cheap, Some of them come with a 1 kilowatt hour battery. So I don't know how much you guys pay for 1 kilowatt hour. Where you can maybe it's about 12 pence or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, 9 to 12 pence.
Exactly. So 9 to 12 pence. So that will give you 50 miles to 40 miles of range for 9 to 12 pence.
Wow.
And I can take it with me on the tube, on the train, because it's quite compact. It's quite portable.
And it's very much kind of the way I put it. It's like a luggage bag.
It is like
isn't it?
absolutely.
And
so
we'll show a bit later. We'll look around.
Definitely show it.
But,
and so that's how I got into electric unicycle. And the more I'm still thinking about getting other forms of rideables, as I call them.
Yeah.
But the electric unicycle just seems to tick all the boxes. Now, in terms of learning, it's probably the hardest EV to learn how to use.
Right.
The learning curve is very high. It will probably take about 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah.
You will drop it, but that's just normal because your body is trying to get used to trying to balance on one wheel.
And your body's not used to that sort of balance.
Exactly, it's not used to that. But when you get it, it's like skiing on concrete.
Oh wow!
It literally is like skiing on concrete. You feel free. It's liberating. It just shortens distances. I remember telling you earlier that there's places in London that I've been to right now because I have an electric unicycle.
Yeah.
Whereas when I had my car, I always think to myself, where am I going to park? And I just kind of give up going out.
The cost of the combustion and just getting anywhere.
Yeah.
And it makes perfect sense. I mean, I've watched your videos and I see all these different places and other people as well. When I can't remember, it's like there was one where a group of people were going through like the streets of New York on their unicycles and stuff.
That was awesome, though.
This looks epic. It's like it looks dangerous, but really fun.
It does look dangerous. You need to learn how to ride it properly.
Yeah, and that's why we I suppose been talking over Twitter and via YouTube.
Yeah.
And then obviously we met about
Ace
a
Cafe.
few weeks ago. Ace Cafe.
Yeah.
And it's like let's kind of
Let's get it done.
Yeah, let's
get it done.
Teach me.
I will teach you, but I mean I must also warn you as well. When you get it, it becomes quite addictive. You literally look for every excuse to go out there and just ride it. Oh well, you know what?
I did that in my car already.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, literally within the first month or so of getting my electric car, I had never driven to France, never gone on the Eurotunnel, and I've certainly never driven an electric car as far as France. Yeah. And I literally that week booked a ticket on the Eurostar and ended up in Dunkirk thinking, well, that was easy. So we spoke about this earlier, but like in terms of all the sustainable and electrified sort of vehicles, electric cars is obviously only one particular part of that.
Yes, it is.
And I think when I was introduced it was for a reason. I get onto electric cars, I fell in love with it, started the YouTube channel, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. But then, like you, started to realise that it's not just that, and hence the reason of really interested in this, to try and sort of learn that. A, for fun, but also because the technology really interests me.
It is.
And there's more coming up over the next week from me that I'm not going to talk about here because it's going to be a surprise. It will involve lightly of me falling off, so that alone will make a great video. But it's many other things, and like that with renewable energy, with cars and unicycles and all these things. Just allowing people to experience all those different things and not just one particular thing is key. And like you said, that what was really interesting is like you live in London, cars in London are a bit ridiculous, and I think we agreed that the future isn't all electric cars in London or cities. It's taking those cars out and having more options of transport within that are green and sustainable, rather than bringing more electric cars in and everything else out.
Yeah, I mean, just to be clear here, and I will always say this: if you must get a car, please always consider getting an electric car. It's as simple as that. There are some places. I mean, London is a huge city. We have up to zone 7, I think, even more than that. But like I say, zone 6. So from zone 6 to maybe zone 3, you might still need a car because obviously that's where the suburbs are, and maybe the transportation system is not that good. But if you live in zone 2, 1, you don't really need a car because the connection and transportation lines are so good.
Yeah.
But there is a strain on the current, transportation system, especially from Monday to Friday. People are going to work during busy hours.
Anyone coming into London on the tube at those times just know how crap it is.
It's so cramped and crap at the same time. So having other alternatives like, if you must get an electric bicycle, get one. Or a normal bicycle, get one. But if you're not fit enough and you don't want to sweat on your way to work, get yourself an electric scooter, electric, obviously, unicycle, a skateboard, electric one wheel, for example. It just makes the journey a lot better and a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah.
And I can tell you this from personal experience. When I get to work on my electric unicycle, so my journey involves me going to Richmond Park, as I told you earlier.
Yeah.
So by the time I get to work, I'm probably at work around 8:15, 8:30. I'm preparing myself for the 9 o'clock meeting, that I'm probably going to have. And I'm already in a good mood.
Yeah, because you've not had a stressful journey.
Exactly. So I'm all pumped up. Whereas my colleagues just come in and they're still rushing in. And they're like, oh, God.
See, I know this from experience. I mean, like I said, I come into London every so often for meetings and things like that. But for me, I now plan things where I don't come in through rush hour because the size I am just doesn't work on the tube anyway. And the fact that if you've got some big dude's armpit in your face, and the fact that I would rather get out of the station and walk to where I can go if I possibly can.
If
or
you can
walk to
walk
another station. And take away all that stress and hassle.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw one of your latest videos where literally, it was a drive through this really nice park.
Yeah.
And it was early morning. I'm like,
that's Richmond.
This guy's going to work.
Yeah,
and
that's Richmond Park.
That's
amazing.
I
know. And people should consider last mile vehicles.
Yeah.
Please do that if you live in cities. So in Paris is a great example. New York as well, obviously, was in New York, a great example where it's just, the cities are getting more populated. We have to be less reactive and more proactive.
Yes.
We can't wait for the day where obviously there's a total gridlock and then we start thinking about all the alternative.
Yeah, it's too late.
It's too late by that time. So yes, electric cars, please get them if you need a car. If you have a family, please get that as well. For that reason. But going back to to your earlier statement about combining different type of transportation. My typical journey to work involves walking, getting my electric unicycle, get onto the overground as well, and then onto the electric unicycle. So I'm combining different types of, transportation. Even my, number 11, as I call it.
Weirdly, we've got our own transportation.
It's called number 11, my two legs. So and electric cars can only take us so far.
Yes.
And if you look at, one of the things or one of the problems electric cars are supposed to solve, as I told you earlier, is congestion, air pollution as well. And even though electric cars can solve those problems, they are not the best tool to solve those problems.
No.
Ridables, I believe, in cities are. Shared platform like Lime and Bird are really good candidates for helping us solve those problems. Again, as I said earlier as well, I'm not a big fan of the dockless model.
Yeah, you need something that's controlled so people can dock those at certain locations.
Because people will make a nuisance of that.
And then it will be taken away again.
Now we're taken away again. So I fully support Lime and Bird and Lyft, but I support them with the docked model, not with a dockless model. And then if you look at electric skateboard as well, as I told you earlier, I looked at electric skateboard. They're also quite easy to carry as well, and easy to to transport. So if you look at the ridables in general, they're easy to transport. They're cheap. They're fun. They get you places. Great last mile. That's why I just thought to myself, I don't need a car. I don't care if it's an electric vehicle or not. I just don't need a car.
It makes perfect sense. I mean, and to be honest, I'm really excited about trying it because it just looks so much fun.
Awesome.
And my last parting gift for my wife before I left was don't break anything. So I was like, I can't guarantee that, but hey, I'll give it a try. But, anyway,
awesome.
Thank you very much for
no worries.